I think at the end of the day, the algorithm is designed to keep people on the platform as long as possible. That's why you see a lot of copycat content on YouTube, because you'll see, okay, this person's doing well, the algorithm favors them, so let's do that. So you keep changing and adjusting within your own content. You're chasing a ghost, really. It's like you're walking around in a dark house and you hear a sound over here, oh, it's over there. Okay, let's go over there and see what it is. But you don't really know exactly what it is. That's just what I've heard from other creators and what I've understood from talking to engineers at Google. So it's like, what, I don't know. We're all doing a rain dance and it's the middle of summer.
Okay, good morning guys. It is currently Thursday and I'm on my way to go record Pretty Basic. Every single Thursday we usually record for our podcast. It is also interesting because I actually have a small crew following me around all day, and then they're gonna follow me and go to my personal training today. So I'll show you guys a little behind the scenes of that too. Yeah, it should be fun. Most people hate the traffic. They hate how busy it is, but I kind of like it. I've just met some amazing people out here, and I'm a workaholic, so I work all the time, so finding other people who also do just makes me feel so much better.
Yeah, like this will look really good. It'd be fun to post on Twitter like the before and after.
I didn't upload till the summer of my sophomore year, so I think I was probably like 15 or 16.
So even in high school you were doing it?
Yeah. In high school I was doing it.
And it got you hooked?
Oh, completely. I was just obsessed with it. I would always just go, like all week I would look forward to Saturday and Sunday when I could just film videos and upload them.
Rate, comment, subscribe, and request. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!
Alisha Marie is a professional YouTuber with over 8 million subscribers. Last year, she was one of several YouTubers to tell the world that a career on the streaming service was unsustainable.
Creatively, I'm burnt out. Honestly, the other day I sat down, I was like, wow, what do I upload this week? Like, I just need something. And that's not what I want my channel to be. Like, I want to be proud of every single thing that I'm uploading.
The reason many of them pointed to? YouTube's algorithm. The site sees about 720,000 hours of new footage every day. That's about 82 years of video. So a major factor for whether a video gets seen is whether YouTube recommends it to users via their homepage or up next section. But most creators don't know what causes a video to get recommended, leaving them in constant insecurity about their job. It's been more than a year since YouTubers started telling these stories of burnout. We wanted to see if anything had changed.
Internet influencers are always on. In order to maintain their audiences, what they really need to do is they need to upload more and more and more engaging content all the time, often every day.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
A huge thing for me was I hit 10 years on YouTube. You know, when I first started getting 1 million or 2 million or 3 million subscribers, it felt like this exciting game and I loved it. It was still kind of scary and empty at times, but overall I really, really enjoyed it. But then realizing, oh, well, what's the point of having 8 million subscribers if I'm only getting 100,000 views? Like, the idea of being irrelevant was really sinking in the more I grew. And after 10 years, I felt like I should have been way more excited than I was. Like, everything just kind of felt empty. Whether it comes to like new friends or dating, like I never wanted to bring up my channel because I didn't want people to see it and think it was cringe or something like that. And that's when I realized I'm not even being who I am on my channel. Like, so all of the things that could make me feel happy about it was just not happening. Like, it wasn't performing well. It wasn't a good representation of me. It's so hard to remove yourself and not think, well, where are those million people? Do they not like me? Was it something I did? Like, is it the content? What should I change about this content so they watch? And as much as you're told not to care about the numbers and just do what you love, it's so much harder when you actually see a number of likes and dislikes, or you even just see, you know, one video getting 5 million views and the other one getting literally 100,000. I was so stressed, so unhappy, definitely caused a lot of like binge tendencies too, just because I didn't know how to deal with my stress. And then I started seeing a therapist last year. I fell into where I played a role of Alisha Marie opposed to just being myself. It got to the point where I didn't even know who I was.
So, you know, we've known for a long time that people in the public eye are always under pressure because they're being scrutinized. But for people who are influencers, it's even more so, because instead of them being a character, it's that they are displaying their personal lives on their channels. And so when they're scrutinized and criticized, there's a very real pressure on them because it's their own lives and their own personalities and their own persona that's being criticized.
Burnout occurs when the reward for what we get from what we do isn't at least commensurate with the effort we put in. You tend to be overworking your, what I'd call like your fire alarm, a certain portion of your brain that's like fight, flight, or freeze. And because you start to feel irritable and overworked, you end up being in that fight, flight, and freeze all the time. Burnout itself isn't like a diagnosable, treatable mental illness. It's definitely something that a therapist could help you with, but if it doesn't get treated and doesn't get helped, that's when it could be anxiety, depression, something like that. So my name is Kati Morton. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and YouTube creator. I worked in an eating disorder treatment center. So through that, I learned a lot about eating disorders, self-injury, and that became my practice in general. That's my specialty. That's what I do. And that's how the channel began.
In the last video, we talked about how the government has used psychological research as a better way to arm ourselves against our enemies. Were you as shocked as I was to learn all about this? Let me know in those comments down below, and I will see you next time for the final episode of The Dark Side of Psychology.
So my channel started in 2011, and it was honestly at the nudging of my husband, who was then my boyfriend, because he went to an event where they were talking about the power of YouTube and reaching people.
There's a gal by the name of Chalene Johnson.
Hi, I'm Chalene Johnson, and welcome to Kick and Core, which is part of the Turbo Jam series.
Who does exercise tapes or whatever back in the day, you know? And she had a lot of hits. But she didn't know who her audience was. She decided that like when the time came, she wouldn't be able to connect with her audience, so she had to get onto social media. And she said, you have to find your tribe and, you know, like be able to communicate directly. And when that happened, I came home, I was like, Kati, you have a lot of information, you know, you should find your tribe online. So she was kind of hesitant to do that, but we did it. So from that point on, we just started, you know, continuing to put out videos, and then the channel started growing. This year is the first year I'm full-time. Kati's been full-time for, I think this is going year 4. So it's pretty cool. If you can affect, you know, someone around the world just from shooting video and putting it on the net, it's pretty amazing.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, patrons. You mean the world to me.
I can count on some AdSense, but Patreon has definitely been like my most consistent income. So on Patreon, there's different tiers that people can purchase into according to their budget. And the thing that's cool about Patreon is nothing changes for people if they can't afford it. They still get the free content on YouTube, but Patreon comes with these rewards. And so one of the rewards in my Patreon account is that you can get a one-on-one like Skype hangout. And it's not therapy, but it's just like a check-in. Like you can see it's very casual, it's very friendly.
And I find that then when things are like bad, it feels chaotic or hard. Then I'm like, no, I can get through this. Like I'll just hang for a bit, it'll go away. You know, it like keeps me calmer in life. Not all the time, but like sometimes, you know?
Right.
So
The channels are the big thing. Those are 2 separate channels with 2 separate incomes. Brand deals are on both of them. Those trickle down to Instagram. So sometimes if a brand comes up to us, then we'll package it together. So maybe it'll be on YouTube and Instagram, or on Twitter and just Instagram, or just a story. Like there's so much to it.
It goes both ways. It's like that one person you're in a relationship with, they're like, it's all your fault and you're always doing it. I feel like that's how creators talk to YouTube a lot. And that's really not the way it is. It's a symbiotic relationship. Figure out what your role is and do your part, because you can't control everything. That's life, but you can control what you do and what you create.
let me know in those comments down below, and I will see you next time for the final episode of The Dark Side of Psychology.
What is happening?
We're good.
It's still pretty surreal for me. Like, I mean, it's really just a box, but like Vans did these like Nintendo, but it's like the classic Nintendo. And it's just like the Mario, it's just the Mario shoes. I'm from a place called Pacoima, which is not too far from here. You know, family, check to check kind of family. I wasn't getting new sneakers like every week or whatever, like, you know, definitely a different lifestyle than what I have now. And then they had like the special Sonic colorway, which looks really cool. To know like that I have all of these shoes, like, it's kind of like, wow, it's like, it's really cool, but it also like makes me feel like I need to give back so much, you know what I mean? Like I feel like a responsibility, like I have all of this, like this is obviously overflow. The moment that I realized I needed to do more than YouTube, I think it started early on. It's a good place to be, but it's also like a very busy place to be. The fact that I'm fortunate enough to have an audience that is hungry enough for that sort of content across those platforms that makes me feel great as well. But at the same time, it does call for a lot more work. In 2013, I started doing videos on my own channel. And then it was struggle city from there. I was doing video at weddings, I was taking pictures for like the city, I was doing any odd job I could find. It takes a long time to build an audience, and it took me a while as well to build an audience. Like 4 years of like struggling on YouTube. And so you do what you have to kind of stay on your toes to be that person. But you know, especially with YouTube, you know, there's always someone right there behind you nipping at your heels.
We sat down with Jacques, Alisha, and Kati to see if they shared this sense of precarity. They all represent different parts of YouTube, but ended up having more in common than we might have expected. How secure would you say that you feel though in your own position on YouTube at this point?
1 to 10, 10 being like I'm totally secure, bulletproof.
Like a 5.
I was gonna say 5.
Yeah, good 50-50. Good 50-50.
Having a smaller channel, looking at a lot of successful YouTubers and feeling like, oh, they have it now, they can relax. I totally remember seeing a YouTuber years ago and thinking, oh my God, she gets 1 million views on every single video. She could upload whatever she wants. She could upload anything and she would get 1 million views, it'd be great.
Does more of your income come from YouTube, or does it come from these other things you have going on right now?
I think I'm sure everybody, it's like, depends on the month. But I think brand deals are probably the largest bucket, but they're not consistent.
For me, the lion's share comes from other things. And here's the difference between us and you. Like, if your story, you like put all this time into it and it doesn't do well, like you still get paid the same amount of money every week. For us, like that's an impact to how much money we get paid at the end of the month.
That must be pretty stressful. Right?
Oh, it's super stressful.
Yeah.
It's super stressful. Burnout, I feel like manifests in a bunch of different ways, kind of depending on who you are and how you work. But I think at the end of the day, burnout is you wanting to succeed over basically everything else that you have going on in your life. I've gotten a little bit better about that. A little bit better, to be honest. It is just a little bit better. I remember when I hit 1 million subs. I was like, oh, I'm gonna hit 1 million. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be great. I was like so close. It was like counting down. And like I hit 1 million and like there was not an ounce of like joy or anything. It was just like, oh.
It's so weird. It's so weird. I've told so many people that story and I still think people don't believe me because I swear I had like a high of feeling I finally hit my number. I've worked, I think at that time it'd been 5 years for that. And kid you not, I distinctly remember seeing 1 million and then in my head that 1 turned to a 2. And I thought I have to do this all over again. Everything I worked for 5 years, I have to double that now.
As much as you want to go away to vacation and enjoy like the fruits of your labor, in the back of your mind, you're thinking about, is my time in the light over? I honestly believe like a lot of us never expected to be where we are. And that instills in you this sort of mentality that you have to work, especially when you get these opportunities. And you know, and if we're gonna keep it totally 100, like we get paid outrageous amounts of money to do things that other people work a lot harder that they don't. I think there's also this sense of guilt. Like, I have this incredible life, like I can't let this slip away and I need to continue working hard to build it.
Sorry, do you feel like you have a good understanding at this point of what the algorithm wants, like how to get your video surfaced the way you want them to?
Oh, no. Not at all. Now, not as much as like ever before, if that makes sense.
I can't slip up. Like I can't make any mistakes. I've got to keep growing, I've got to keep building, because if I make a mistake, then it'll all go away.
Because there are all these different metrics and the algorithms are figuring out how to recommend you for subscribers or for ads. But the problem is that you are not playing the same game as the person with the channel next to yours.
That's not a path I think we chose for ourselves. It's kind of something that we fell into, and now we're trying to make the most of it. And now that we're inside of that opportunity, you don't want to miss that opportunity.
And even when YouTube and the others are trying now to say, look, we care about you as people and we care about your mental health, so everybody needs a vacation. But it could be a mistake for some people because they could lose their audiences.
It's like you're chasing that high to be like, okay, this is going to separate me, this is what's going to solidify me, but you never really get to that place.